Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark Trimble, and I want to welcome everybody here to our webinar. Thank you for taking a few minutes to join us for the webinar today, which the title of it is 401k Retirement Plans. By way of introduction, my name is Mark Trimble. I'm the VP of Operations for the ESG Arizona market. Our presenter today is Jeff Mark. Jeff is a Senior Financial Advisor at Wells Fargo Advisors Financial Network. We're very pleased to have Jeff with us today to share some of his extensive knowledge and insight about 401ks. Before I turn the time over to Jeff, though, I just want to talk for just a couple of moments about what we do. Employer Solutions Group, ESG, is a professional employer organization, a PEO. Our sister companies are Century 2 and Professional Staff Management. Each of our PEOs share resources and expertise, but operate independently within their separate markets across the country. ESG and its sister companies provide HR services to small and mid-sized businesses. We provide support to our clients within the areas of HR, benefits, administration, payroll services, workers' comp, and risk management. We help businesses stay compliant, reduce costs, and increase profitability. By outsourcing HR management functions, you as a business owner gain an entire team of highly experienced and specialized professionals, all of this at a fraction of the investment required to have this expertise on staff. I'm now going to turn the time over to Jeff Mark, and Jeff is going to provide us some enlightenment about 401ks. It's all yours, Jeff.
Perfect. Thank you, Mark. And thank everyone for taking the time to find out more about 401k plans. What I want to do is give you a high-level overview, why to establish a 401k plan, some of the requirements that you have on an annual basis, and then some solutions for you to help make the administration easier, to expedite some of the things, some cost-saving tools that we have in place. So there is a question area that if you have any questions that you can type in, and I'll answer those at the end of the presentation. And additionally, any further questions that you may have, you can always reach out to Mark, and Mark will be more than happy to pass those along to me. I'm more than happy to schedule a one-on-one time with any of you just to make sure that any questions, clarification, whether you have a 401k plan already in place, whether you don't have one, or maybe you currently participate in the ESG, Century 2 Staffing, and PSM 401k plan, I'm more than happy to answer any questions and help you navigate the retirement landscape. Some of you may have a different form of retirement plan than a 401k. You may have a SEP, a 403B, a simple IRA, and you're just wondering, maybe what the best structure is for your particular situation. That's what I'm here for. That's what Mark is here for. And I'm more than happy, again, to answer those questions now. If you have a question, you can type them in. I'll address those at the end. Or if you just want to spend some time one-on-one, I'm more than happy to reach out to you. So I've been working with Century 2 Staffing, PSM, and Employer Solution Group dating back to 2003 on their 401k plan. I specialize in 401k plan administration, plan design. I have a particular focus on employee education and retirement planning to help your employees. So whether, again, you have a 401k plan, you're thinking about it, you're not even sure if you have the right plan design, I'm more than happy to help you with that. First, why establish a 401k plan? I'm often asked that question, but they can be utilized properly, a very powerful tool in promoting financial security in retirement for your employees. They're a valuable option for businesses considering a retirement plan, providing benefits to employees as well as the employer. There are many reasons that I see employers start a 401k plan. To name a few, a well-designed 401k plan primarily can help attract, retain, reward, and motivate talented employees. And there was very recently a study done from a company called Fisher Investments 401k Solutions, and they found that 80% of millennials say they would prefer to work for a company that offers a 401k plan. And considering by the year 2020 that 70% of the workforce will be millennials, that's a pretty powerful research finding. So if you're looking to attract future talent, 401k plans are a very important benefit. There are many other reasons that employers start a 401k plan. It allows participants to decide how much to contribute to their 401k plan. So in 2017, employees are allowed to contribute up to $18,000, and any individual 50 years of age or over in this calendar year can contribute an additional $6,000 to their 401k plan. Additionally, many employees have the ability to contribute to a Roth 401k after tax in addition to the pre-tax account, and this can be a very, very beneficial feature to your employees. And all dollars contributed to a Roth 401k account grow tax-free, and all withdrawals at retirement are tax-free as long as an individual is over the age of 59 and a half and the money is withdrawn 5 years after the initial deposit. This is important. I told Mark I would focus on the Roth 401k and after-tax contribution a little bit because there was a recent study done by the Tax Policy Center that found in 2015 45.3% of American households pay no federal income tax. So a Roth 401k being an after-tax contribution and it grows tax-free, all withdrawals at retirement are tax-free, why wouldn't you want your employees that are effectively paying no federal income tax, why not have them contribute to a Roth 401k plan? If you can help your employees save 5, 10, or even 15% in taxes, that amount compounded out over a 30 or 40-year period amounts to tens of thousands of dollars. So the Roth 401k plan feature's been around for about 10 or 11 years. Some employers still haven't added it. They still haven't amended their plan document to allow for the Roth 401k feature. We do allow that in the ESG, Century 2, and PSM 401k platform. And when it comes to educating the participants, it's something that we really, really try to focus on is saving tax dollars. So I think the Roth 401k is a very important feature, and it's another great reason to offer a 401k for your employees. Another feature, any employer contribution, whether it be in the form of a match or profit sharing, is a tax deduction for those contributions to the employee accounts. And a 401k can benefit a mix of rank and file employees, owners, manuals, and managers. Additionally, for those employers or employees who are nervous about how to invest your money, most 401k plans offer a variety of investment options. I know within the Century 2 Staffing, ESG, and PSM 401k plan, you can invest in stock mutual funds, bond mutual funds, money market fund. We also have target date funds available. So employees have the ability to decide how conservatively they want to invest, how aggressively they want to invest. Maybe they want to invest middle of the road in a balanced portfolio. And I often hear a lot of employees say, just tell me what to do. I don't want to be responsible for picking and choosing. So In the Century 2 staffing ESG and PSM plan, we have what we call target date funds. And these target date funds, I use this in my own 401k plan at Wells Fargo Advisors Financial Network. We have target date funds that are managed by Vanguard, which is the largest mutual fund company in the world, and they range from a 2015, 2020, 2025, 2030, all the way up to 2060 target retirement fund. So for example, I am invested in a 2035 target date fund. I'm on autopilot. I'm 46 years of age. My anticipated year retirement is about 18 years from now, or the year 2035. So I allocate 100% to the target date fund. And the way this works is Vanguard will diversify the money for me and for your employees. And it's more focused on growth the younger the employee is, but it automatically becomes more conservative as you near the target date. For an employee who's maybe only 40, they would choose the Vanguard Target Retirement 2040 fund. If we have an employee 10 years from retirement, they would choose a 2025 fund. But I bring this up because it's a very underutilized investment option. When we take a retirement plan over, we find that most employees tend to invest in these target retirement funds or target date funds. So it's a great feature. The average expense ratio of these funds is 0.15% in the ESG Century 2 and PSM 401k plan. So it's a very, very low-cost option that is available to employees in the retirement plan. When you go to establish a 401k plan, there are a few steps that you need to take. The first one is to adopt a written plan document. The written plan document will serve as the foundation for your day-to-day operations of the plan. The plan document will outline what the company has determined eligibility to be to participate. So you may choose 21 years of age. You may choose that an employee has to work for 12 months to become eligible in the 401k plan. You may allow individuals to participate as young as 18 years of age and after 1 hour of service. But when you create your written plan document, all of that information will be outlined in the plan document. The second step is to arrange a trust for your plan assets. The plan assets must be held in trust to assure that the assets are used solely to benefit the participants and their beneficiaries. The Department of Labor has really started to highlight that these 401k plans aren't just for the benefit of your participant, but also the beneficiary. The trust must have at least one trustee to handle the contributions, plan investments, distributions from the plan. And since the financial integrity of the plan assets depends on the trustee, selecting a trustee is one of the most important decisions a business will make when you establish a 401k plan. With the Century 2 ESG and PSM plan, there is an internal trustee that manages their master plan. And that's very attractive, I know, for a lot of co-employers to have somebody else as an outside fiduciary, an outside trustee to manage the plan and oversee that for them. It is very advantageous. The third thing that you need to do is develop a record-keeping system for your 401k plan. An accurate record-keeping system will track and properly attribute contributions to the plan. They'll look at earnings that the money contributed to the plan. They'll look at losses, if there are losses in the plan, investments, expenses, and benefit distributions. So the record keeper you can almost view as a bookkeeper for your business. The record keeper in a retirement plan tracks all of the activity that occurs and keeps record of that for the employer as well as the employee. If in addition, a record-keeping system will help you and the plan administrator, if you have an outside third-party administrator, or even your financial provider, prepare an annual return and report 5500, and that record-keeping will assist in the annual ADP and ACP testing that has to occur on an annual basis. And then lastly, the last step is to provide plan information to employees eligible to participate. This is often tedious, and it's also often overlooked. I find this this occurs quite often. So you must notify employees who are eligible to participate in the plan about certain benefits of the plan, rights of the plan, features of the plan. You must provide them a summary plan description, also called an SPD, that must go to all eligible participants, whether they want to participate or not. And the SPD is the primary vehicle to inform participants and beneficiaries about the plan and how it operates. So it will outline what the loan provisions are if your plan offers loans. It will talk about the hardship provision if your plan offers hardships. It will outline eligibility to participate, and then also who to contact should anybody have questions. The SPD is typically created with the master plan document, so it's really a Cliff Notes version of the 100-page master plan document if you adopt that on your own. And additionally, there are several other legal documents required to be provided to the employees upon plan commencement, as employees become eligible to participate, and then annually as dictated by the Department of Labor, ERISA, and or the IRS. So those are the 4 steps when you go to establish a 401k plan. Then there are many employer compliance and fiduciary responsibilities when maintaining a 401k plan that you have on a day-to-day basis. And I'm not going to outline all of them, but I will go through some of the more important features that you may or may not be familiar with. But those persons or entities that are fiduciaries are in a position of trust with respect to the participants and their beneficiaries. I have seen in instances where beneficiaries of a participant's plan actually have sued employers for mismanagement of the plan. And it can be for a variety of reasons, but it's very important to not just think about the participant, but also the beneficiaries of the plan. But there are a number of fiduciary responsibilities that must be performed in a timely manner and documented. Documented is key. Throughout the year, it's the trustee of a retirement plan. And again, I'm going to outline a few of these, but due to time restraints, I'm unable to list them all. And I told Mark, I have a fiduciary binder and fiduciary checklist. And I have tabs that we can provide to anyone interested that you can put in. Just go out and buy a 2 or 3 inch binder, and these fiduciary tabs will go in that binder, and there's a section for each important document that you must maintain. And if you're ever audited by the Department of Labor, all that you need to do is turn this binder over to the Department of Labor auditor, and as long as you have everything outlined at the beginning of each tab, you will be set. It will include everything from the plan trust documents, your fidelity bond, which I'll get into in a moment, the investment policy statement, 5500 filings, any fee disclosures that you had on a regular basis. So it's something that if you maintain your own plan, I'm more than happy to email these to you or even mail you the hard copy version of these fiduciary binders. But a few of the day-to-day responsibilities, we'll go through those right now. If you permit your employees to direct the investments to their accounts, which anymore most employers have self-directed plans where the employees are responsible for picking and choosing their own investment options, you need to decide what investment options to make available to the employees. And you need to make sure that those are prudent investment options for the participant and their beneficiary. So depending on the plan that you choose, you may want to hire someone either to determine the investment options to make available, to manage the plan investments, and then you continually want to monitor the investment options to ensure that those selections remain in the best interest of the 401k plan as participants. In the ESG Century 2 and PSM plan, investment monitoring is ongoing. It is something that is happening nearly every day by the plan fiduciaries and the investment committee and the trustee. Another thing that you want to make sure you do is act solely in the interest of the participant and the beneficiary. Remember, the ERISA and Department of Labor look at 401k plans not as an employer benefit. They look at these as being solely for the benefit of your employees. So acting for the exclusive purpose of providing benefits to workers participating in the plan and their beneficiaries, and defraying reasonable expenses of the plan, carrying out duties with the care, skill, prudence, and diligence of a prudent person familiar with such matters, following the plan document that you set up, and diversifying plan investments. It is crucial that you follow those. These are the responsibilities that fiduciaries need to keep in mind that they carry out their duties. The responsibility to be prudent covers a wide range of functions needed to operate a plan, since all these functions must be carried out in the same manner as a prudent person would. It may be in your best interest to consult with experts in various fields, whether it be your business accountant, a tax advisor, or maybe a financial advisor. It's very, very important to make sure that you're reviewing those investment options. Then the deposit of employee contributions. We bring on to the ESG Century 2 and PSM plan, a lot of time we're brought on to clean up a company's retirement plan. They're looking for help. Maybe they're not making timely deposits of employee contributions, but the rule regarding deposit of employee contributions is this. Those contributions to the record keeper must be deposited in trust as early as the contributions can be reasonably segregated from the employer's assets. As early as can be reasonably segregated from the employer's assets. So if you segregate those assets the day after payroll is run, the Department of Labor expects you to upload those participant contributions and not sit on them in a savings or checking account of the employer immediately. You actually have until the 15th business day of the month following the month in which participant contributions were withheld. All right, that's what the law says, but if you're segregating those employee contributions the day after payroll, then it needs to be uploaded immediately. There's a little bit of leeway for small plans, those with less than 100 participants. There's a 7 business day safe harbor to deposit those participant contributions. But the Department of Labor frowns upon employers who hold on to those employee contributions. And I know that I get calls often asking by employees, hey, when do these contributions need to be uploaded? You know, I got paid on Friday and it's Wednesday of the following week and I don't see my contribution. What's nice about the Century 2 ESG and PSM plan, they're uploaded immediately after payroll is run and those deposits are segregated from payroll. So the PEO, ESG, Century 2, and PSM are responsible for uploading those participant contributions to the record keeper. They handle all of that for you. Then there's bonding. It's something that some employers forget about, is the bonding, but persons handling plan funds or other plan property generally must be covered by a fidelity bond, and this fidelity bond protects the plan against loss resulting from fraud and dishonesty by those covered by the bonds. The amount of the bond, it changes annually typically. It must be at least 10% of the base of the plan assets on December 31 of the prior year. The maximum face value of that bond is $500,000. If the plan holds employer securities or public stock, then it's increased to $1 million. So for example, if you have a $500,000 401k plan, that's the total balance of all employee assets, then you must have a $50,000 fidelity bond. That's 1/10 of the value. If you have a $1 million 401k plan on the last day of the calendar year, you must have a $100,000 fidelity bond coverage. And this is something that Century 2, ESG, and PSM have automatically on their plan. If you are on the ESG, Century 2, and PSM 401k platform, they've got you covered. They have that coverage themselves. Actually, when I was talking to Mark Trimble yesterday, I got an email as soon as we hung up from one of their co-employers that actually have the PEO 401k plan, and he said, hey, well, I'm just reviewing all my insurance policy, just wondering if I need to have fidelity bond coverage for my 401k plan. It's something my insurance carrier just asked about, and the nice part was he's covered. We have that covered in the PEO platform. So the bonding is something important. If you forgot about it, you have your own individual, you have your own company 401k plan, make sure that that is updated based on the 12/31 account balance of your plan. Additionally, a Form 5500, anybody who has a 401k plan, you're familiar with the Form 5500. The 5500 has to be filed annually. It's due at the end of the 7th month after the end of the plan year. So by July 31, there is an extension that you can request. It's a 2.5-month extension by filing Form 5558 before the due date of the 5500, and you can have until October 15th to get that 5500 filed. But think of the 5500 as very similar to your individual 1040 tax return. The 5500 is a return that tells all about the activity, the earnings, losses, eligible participants of your company 401k plan. The Form 5500 must be filed on an annual basis, and there is a penalty for being late, no different than a penalty and interest that may be due for an individual that files their own individual 1040 if you're late. The 5500 is something, if you're a part of the PEO plan, and we have an individual on the call that participates in the Century 2 ESG and PSM plan, The 5500 is something that we are responsible for filing. That is filed at the master plan document level. You don't have to worry about that if you've co-adopted the ESG, Century 2, and PSM plan platform, so you can wash your hands of that. There's also a summary annual report, which is a summary, it's a Cliff Notes version of the Form 5500. It includes basic financial statement of the plan. That is due 2 months after Form 5500 is due, including extensions. There's also summary of material modification that you need to be sure that you do. A summary of material modifications, a description of changes to the information contained in the summary plan description. So if your plan makes material changes throughout the year, maybe you change eligibility, maybe you change the type of profit sharing formula that you have, you must provide a summary of material modification to all employees who participate, as well as all eligible employees, even if they don't participate in the 401k plan. There are also several annual notifications that must go out. Fee disclosure, the QDIA, or Qualified Default Investment Alternative. The QDIA is for those participants who, when they enroll, for whatever reason they didn't choose an investment option. All plans are required to have a Qualified Default Investment Alternative, or QDIA. In the ESG Century 2 Professional Staff Management 401k plan, the QDIA, or Qualified Default Investment Alternative, is the Vanguard age-appropriate target date funds. Every employee who is default enrolled must receive a copy of that QDIA by December 1. And any termed employees, those employees who still have an account balance but no longer work at your company, are required to receive most of these notifications as well. So you're responsible, if you have your own 401k plan, to track these employees down. If they've moved and you get returned mail, you still have to put forth and document all the effort that you put in to finding those employees or their beneficiary, to give them the QDIA notification, to provide them the 408B2 fee notification. It is your responsibility to do that. Even when you have trouble finding that employee, you still have to try to track them down and document that what steps you took. The Department of Labor, just saying I can't track them down, I can't find them, you have to show proof to the Department of Labor. So it's almost that you are guilty until you prove yourself innocent. Annual safe harbor notifications for those companies that have a safe harbor 401k plan. Those notifications are required to be provided to all participating employees, as well as any eligible employee, even if they aren't currently participating. That must go out between October 1 and December 1 of every year, notifying the employee that you're going to continue with the Safe Harbor 401k plan in the following year. The fee disclosures, we talked about that. There are several additional fee disclosures that are required to be updated and distributed at least annually. Then for those employers that have over 100 eligible employees at year end, you must have an annual audit on your 401k plan. Federal law requires the annual audit of a 401k defined contribution plan when the eligible participants reach 100. That's not just participating, contributing employees, that's eligible employees. March 15th is a very important deadline. That's the deadline that you must have corrective distributions for failed prior year ADP, which is actual deferral percentage, and ACP, or actual contribution percentage testing. Those failed tests, maybe somebody over contributed, the monies must be out by March 15th and the check cut to the participant to avoid a 10% excise tax. All right? So that's important. And then again, the investment policy statement. You need to provide that to employees. The investment policy statement should include an evaluation of the specific needs of the plans and its participants, the investment objectives and goals of the plan, definitions of duties and responsibilities of all parties involved. So who is the record keeper? Who is the trustee that needs to be notified? That's also referred to as the fiduciary committee charters. Define due diligence criteria for selecting and monitoring the investment options, as well as what criteria would an investment have to meet to be included in the plan or maybe be removed from the plan. The classes and styles of investments authorized and any restrictions on investment. And then standards and benchmarks of investment performance to which the plan assets are compared. Any additional policy and procedure related to hiring, monitoring, and replacement of investment managers, or procedures for monitoring and controlling investment expenses. You want the investment policy statement to be thorough, but at the same time, you want it to be vague enough to not box yourself into a corner. Okay, so if you say you're going to monitor the investment options every quarter against a benchmark and make changes, you better do that on a quarterly basis and have documentation if your investment policy statement states that you will. If you know that you aren't going to do it except once a year on an annual basis, then just put in there on an annual basis. You will have a plan review. So it's very important that you follow that investment policy statement to a T. If you have co-adopted the Century 2 Staffing, ESG, and PSM 401k plan, we already have an investment policy statement. That's something that we follow. Those are the guidelines that we follow. If you have co-adopted and you're currently participating in the ESG, Century 2 Staffing, or PSM 401k plan, we're more than happy to provide you a copy of the investment policy statement. And then a lot of this can be overwhelming, and like I said earlier, usually we get a call when an employer is they're just through with managing a 401k plan, trying to keep up on all the law changes on an annual basis, the daily duties, the uploading of participant contributions in a timely manner, making sure that all the notifications have gone out, that they have the documentation. A lot of employees a lot of employers, they just get tired of the day-to-day administration. And then for those employers who think it's too costly and maybe to set up your own independent 401k plan is too costly, the reason for this call is we have a solution for you. ESG, Century 2 Staffing, and Professional Staff Management have what they call a multiple employer plan, a multiple employer 401k plan. We have the master plan document that you can co-adopt, and it is a very, very cost-effective way to offer a 401k plan for your company and your employees. Whether you're looking to start a 401k plan or you currently already administer your own, outsourcing your day-to-day duties and fiduciary obligations to ESG, Century 2 Staffing, and PSM makes complete financial sense. The plan, the cost to co-adopt the ESG Century 2 Staffing and PSM plan is a one-time $500 setup fee, one-time $500 cost, which that cost is tax deductible. And I always encourage you to talk to your tax advisor for any tax advice. And then annually, it's $500 cost for employers with 10 or more participating employees. That is it. So if you're in the top tax rate, top tax bracket, that's less than $6 a week to provide a 401k plan to your employees. The number one factor, 71% of employers respond to not offering a 401k plan because they feel it's too costly to set up. You get the benefit of using leverage, and the size of the PEO plan that ESG Century 2 Staffing and Professional Staff Management have. You can leverage the economy of scale and set this plan up very inexpensively. I mean, I don't know many companies who can't afford $6 or $7 a week. It's Starbucks once a week. It's, you know, it's that 99-cent Big Gulp once a day on your way to work, or that cup of coffee. And then when you outsource your company 401k plan, whether you have one set up already and you want to merge that into a plan set up in ESG Century 2 Staffing and Professional Staff Management, it's very easy. And not only will you save money on administering your current plan, but you are going to save an immense amount of time on the day-to-day administration, and you will save money on not having to have somebody administer your plan on a day-to-day basis, and you are outsourcing the trustee and fiduciary responsibilities of the day-to-day management of your plan. And I know a lot of employers, we have about 200 401k plans that have co-adopted and take advantage of the ESG Century 2 PSM plan. They like the fact that they are not the trustee of the plan. They like that. The PEO, ESG Century 2 Staffing and PSM, is responsible for all salary deferral uploads to the record keeper, providing all the census information to the record keeper to do the annual testing, the annual 5500. We are responsible for tracking employee eligibility, participant notifications upon eligibility, the fee disclosure, the summary plan description, all annual notices. The PEO is responsible for that. The employer doesn't have to worry about administering that anymore. The 5500 filing is our responsibility. The annual testing, our responsibility. The fidelity bond coverage, the PEO responsibility, and they cover the cost of that. The fiduciary liability insurance that they have, investment monitoring, the investment plan committee, the investment policy statement. We are responsible for all of that. You wash your hands of 401k plan. When you co-adopt the PEO 401k plan, you can customize your plan however you'd like. We have many companies that simply can't afford to match. They can't afford a profit sharing. You don't have to offer a match or a profit sharing. You just want to offer a low cost, convenient way for your employees to save for retirement. You can do that. You can at any time add a match or add a profit sharing to your 401k plan if you co-adopt the PEO plan. You don't have to start off with a match. If you want a match, you can customize the match however you want. I'm often asked what the most common matching formula is. That's 50% of the first 6% that an employee defers. That's the most common match that we see, but you can customize it however you want. You can match 25% of the first 4% an employee contributes. We have one technology company in the plan, they match dollar for dollar the first 10% the employees contribute. We have many plans that don't offer a match. They just want to simply offer a convenient way for employees to save for retirement. So you also determine what eligibility is. So if you want your employees to have to work for you for 3 months before they can enroll, you can do that. You can make it 6 months of service. 1 year of service is the most restrictive that you can be, and 21 years of age. As long as eligibility is not more restrictive than 21 years of age and 1 year of service, you can do it. A lot of companies will set up 401k eligibility to mirror their other benefits. So if there's a 90-day probationary period for health care benefits, a lot of time an employer will mirror 401k plan to that. But it's entirely up to you to customize it however you would like. Again, the match, up to you. Profit sharing, entirely up to you. Okay? And we can help you with that. We can help you with plan design. If you say, hey, Jeff, we have $5,000 we can contribute to the employees in the form of a match. We have 10 employees. You know, help me back into a convenient matching formula that makes sense for us as the employer, but also that is fair for the employee. I can help you with that. You can also customize your vesting schedule on any company match. As long as you are not more restrictive than what they call the 220 6-year vesting schedule, you can have it. You can customize it. So the most common vesting schedule is 6 years. It doesn't have to be. Again, it's up to you as long as you're not more restrictive than vesting the company match 20% after the 2nd year of service, 40% vesting after the 3rd year of service, 60% after the 4th year, 80% after the 5th year, and 100% after the 6th full year of service. As long as you're not more restrictive than that, you can customize it. You might have a 4-year vesting schedule where they vest 25% each year that they're employed on the company match. So if you have a vesting schedule and an employee quits after year 3 and they're only 40% vested, but you've matched them $2,000, that employee only gets to keep 40% of the $2,000 or $800. The other $1,200 goes into your employer forfeiture account, and that's what ESG, Century 2, and PSM pull off of to meet future matching obligations. So typically year 1, if you have a match, is the most costly because occasionally you'll have turnover, yet I hope that adding a 401k plan helps you attract, retain, reward, motivate your most talented employees, limits that turnover. But year 1 is typically the most expensive when it comes to a match because there's not a forfeiture balance. The typical cost for an employer to set up their own 401k plan outside of the PEO arrangement is about $2,000 for the plan document and everything that goes along with that. And then typically the average annual cost is $1,750 a year and $25 per eligible participant. For a lot of employers, that is costly. That's why they're afraid to offer a plan. Again, the solution with ESG, Century 2, and Professional Staff Management, one-time $500 setup fee, $500 annual administrative cost if you have 10 employees or more participating. So I know that I've probably gone a little over there, get a little bit excited about 401k plans, but I am always available to answer any questions, and I see that few questions here. I'm gonna get to a couple of these questions. I have a question here that says, what are competitive vesting periods in today's environment? Ours increases 20% per year and takes 6 years to fully vest at 100%. This seems too long. That, I would say, is the most common. And a lot of times an employer is, you know, sometimes they don't even recognize what they're doing when they choose that vesting schedule. They're told, hey, this is the most common. It doesn't have to be a 6-year vesting schedule. It can be less than that. It's entirely up to the employer how you set that up. Again, I would say it's the most common, but we have some companies that vest their employees immediately. We have other employers that make it a 3-year cliff, so after 3 years they're 100% vested. We see a little bit of everything. With 200 401k plans, we see a little bit of everything. Another one says they see where employees have to wait until their first work anniversary before they can participate. It seems counterintuitive. Shouldn't we want to encourage them to get into the plan sooner? That is up to the employer. I'm a huge advocate of saving. In my own company 401k plan, we have immediate eligibility, and employees can enroll at the next open enrollment date. So it's 1 hour of service, you're eligible to enroll. So if an employee is hired January the 26th, we have quarterly open enrollment. That employee can enroll in the plan on April 1. So again, that's up to the employer. A lot of time what we see is if there is not an employer match, there's no reason to make it a 1-year wait, in my opinion. Why not make it immediately eligible to participate? And sometimes it's because the employer that offers their own 401k plan, administratively, they don't want to have to deal with coordinating, you know, 30 employees every year, making sure they give them notices the first of every month. So sometimes they'll make it 1-year wait for eligibility. It's common to see 1 year, but we see immediate eligibility, 90 days of service, 6 months of service. It just really depends on what the objective is of the employer. If you have a really, really expensive or generous match, sometimes you may want to make an employee wait a year. But again, that's up to each employer, and sometimes an employer hasn't revisited that or the vesting in 15 years. So we can help you with that. 401k audit. 401k audit. We are responsible. We have an annual audit on our 401k plan, the master plan document. If you co-adopt the Century 2 staffing 401k plan, ESG 401k plan, or PSM 401k plan, our plan goes through an audit every year. What is going on with all 401k plans? I've got a couple more questions. I don't understand that one. I see one. I'm going to provide, I'm going to give you my telephone number for some of you, because I don't know if we're going to get through all of these questions. I'll give you my cell phone number. I'm more than happy to let you call me on my cell phone. It's completely fine, and my office number. But my cell phone number is area code 317-979-0330. Again, my cell phone, this is Jeffrey Mark, 317-979-0330. And my email address is jmark, M-A-R-K, at wfafinet.com. So that's jmark at WFA, which is short for Wells Fargo Advisors, Finet, F-I-N as in Nancy, E as in Eric, T as in Tom.com. Feel free to send me an email as well. And I apologize. It's been an hour, so I'm getting the cutoff here. But please call me on my cell phone, email me. I have a lot of employee meetings I do. I'll get back to you within 24 hours. And then I can spend some one-on-one time with you on the phone and further elaborate on any questions that you have. But we're more than happy to consult with you if you don't have a plan, you have just a few employees, or you have a lot of employees, what your best option may be when it comes to retirement plans. So thank you for your time. I'm going to turn it back over to Mark Trimble real quickly, see if he has any last words of wisdom here.
I don't know about words of wisdom, Jeff, but really do appreciate you providing us some insight and information on the 401k. I'd also like to thank all those that have joined our webinar today. We appreciate you taking some time out of your busy day. Hopefully you've learned something additional about 401k. Just real quick, as Jeff outlined so well, I think the two largest obstacles for small to mid-sized business owners are, first, the cost of administering a 401k, and second, the compliance and fiduciary responsibilities of maintaining a 401k. The unique multiple employer plan platform offered through ESG, C2, Century 2, and Professional Staff Management provides a solution that addresses both of these obstacles. So if you're interested, please reach out to us or your human resource consultant, and we will certainly be able to provide some answers and put you in touch with Jeff. Just as a quick final reminder, I'd like to let everyone know that ESG, Century 2, and PSM offer free webinars like this on an ongoing basis. The webinars address topics of interest for business owners. We will be providing more information in the days ahead regarding future upcoming webinars. So again, thank you, and this concludes our webinar.
Thank you.